It's actually so lovely to be back. So, thank you for all those who have been patiently waiting for me to return. I have been very, very busy doing other things, but it's my absolute pleasure to bring you your forecast for June, July, and August. So, from now on, I'm going to be doing like seasonal readings. It just lightens the weight up a little bit for me as well. The load sometimes can be a little bit too much. So, Scorpio, I've been having a look kind of like what you should expect in the next couple of months. The next couple of months, if we look at it with numerology, so June usually is a number 6, but numerology this year it's actually number 7, and July is going to be an 8, and then August will be a 9. So that might confuse you a little bit, but don't stress about it. You don't need to know those bits. They're for me to know. So when Scorpio, when we look at like 7s, 8s, and 9s, you're already transformational. You're already transitional. So when we've got energy such as 7s, which is like really digging deep into ourselves, we can absolutely assume that Scorpio, you're going to do that. Then when we start to look at number 8, Scorpio, you don't need a reason to be magnificent. You just are magnificent. And when it comes to getting work done, when it comes to career, when it comes to power and authority, you're already all over it. So I'd suggest that July is going to be quite a dynamic month for you. And then when we get to August, as a number 9, really releasing those things that no longer serve you. It's so important, Scorpio, that you do that. Scorpios work best, as the phoenix. So release, letting go, transformational rebirth. So just be really aware of that. Now, I'm going to be using for everybody today the skulls, and I know, Scorpio, that you will love that more than anybody else. So shuffling for the lovely Scorpio for the months of June, July, and August. For some of you, this is winter. For me, it's winter. I've got my winter jumper on. And for others that are watching in the Northern Hemisphere, this is more summertime for you. Oh, love it when that happens. So I'm going to see this as an overall card for you. And we have the Two of Pentacles, juggling. It's not like you, Scorpio, to juggle, is it? Juggle, juggle, juggle. So imagine just doing this. Some of you might be fantastic at juggling and really enjoy being in different spaces. But for some of you that don't like that, you may need to learn how to be more flowing and more, what's the word I'm looking, agile when it comes to the way in which you do things. Obviously extremely excited to be back, these cards, because they're throwing themselves around and there is a lot of energy in them. Excellent. So I'm just going to be picking 3 cards for each month, and then we'll get an overview of that. Beautiful. These cards, I just love them so much. So when we're looking at June, which is a number 7, 7's a very temple energy. It can signify for some of you that there's going to be medicine, science, maybe health issues or things that you want to have a look at. But it can also mean study, becoming the guru, really throwing yourself into those elements that you love, topics that you love, inner knowledge, listening to ourselves. 7 is a very spiritual number, and I just love it that universally that the whole world right at the moment is doing some inner knowledge, hopefully. Now, for June, you have the 9 of Cups. You also have the 8 of Pentacles, and you also have the High Priestess, which we know as a number 2 when it comes to the major arcana. So it really is implying here that you need to be looking at your wisdom, looking at the things that you know, maybe sitting down and thinking or writing about your skill sets. Now, I'm not saying there's a reason you've got to do that. It might just simply be, I don't know, maybe a bit of self-praise. But there could be some changes coming where you need to know what you bring to the table and being able to talk yourself up. Now, the high priestess, she is the high energy. She is high temple. So it fits really well with the universal energy of 7, because this is you tapping into your wisdom, tapping into your intuition, tapping into all those places where you need to bring your knowledge. This isn't your first rodeo. The high priestess doesn't turn up when you don't know your shit, right? So it's letting you know your shit. And you need to let other people know you know your shit too. So this, even if it's at work colleagues, it's like, actually, I really know what I'm doing. How about you stop micromanaging me probably, or can I actually come forward? So I've got some really amazing ideas. Now, the 8 of Pentacles is craft. It's, as I said, this isn't your first rodeo or rodeo, depending on where you're from. This is someone who's got all these amazing skills. So I feel like even if you are, a mum or a dad who's at home, it's reminding you that you have all these domestic goddesses and God energy. And it's like, I could do this and I could do that and I could do that and da-da-da. And it's like, oh, I'm so amazingly creative. And in the workspace, it's also like, I know what I bring to the table. And not only that, I really want to keep working on additional skill sets. So I'm really hoping if some of you are teetering on the idea of going back to school or doing some education, be it for work or be it for entertainment purposes, that you actually move forwards to do that, because this is really inclining that you could turn something that you love to do into potentially a craft. Now, the 9 of Cups, it's a very emotional space. When I looked at this, actually, I got an area of like a little bit of anxiety, even though, the Cups is always about emotions. So when we're looking at the 9, there's some endings coming around here, but endings mean transformation. So it's kind of embracing any changes that happen in the month of June and realizing that even if, just say you just lost your job, I'm not saying that's just an example, it's like, it doesn't matter because I've got this, and this that I can do. And I've always been thinking about this, and now maybe it's the time to do it. So remember the juggling energy coming up here too, juggling 2 places, juggling 2 energies, juggling maybe 2 jobs, juggling study and work, juggling home life and work. So juggle, juggle, juggle. But we want you to become the magician. Now, you don't have the magician card here, but I still feel like this is what's pushing you forwards. So it's almost like you've got to have absolute, complete, optimal positivity. And it doesn't mean you can't be a realist, but it's like, doesn't matter, because this is going to send me in the direction that I really want to go in. Now, I'm just going to pick a guide card to go over the top of that to give you some advice. And we have joy, lighten up. It's not like Scorpios to be intense, is it? So hummingbird, lighten up, joy. So we want you to also enjoy this month. And don't take things too seriously. And that could be like why I'm saying you need this optimal positivity. It's like, okay, and I'm a Scorpio. I've had a week from hell. Even this morning, I've had to move on to Zoom on my camera instead of my laptop because for some reason it keeps collapsing and it's driving me nutty. I also had my social media shut down, no fault of my own. I was hacked. And then also my house got flooded. So it's been one of those weeks. So when it says here, lighten up, it's like, yeah, I need to look, because I was so intense before starting this video. So this is a nice little kind of almost like guidance for me as well. So I'm hoping that it's guidance for you as well. Now, when we move into July, the 8, the power, the authority, career, wealth, finances, abundance. You want to get really excited about July. I'm excited about July because I love to I love to build empires. I love to learn new stuff. So this month I'm learning new stuff, which is obviously tolerance. But next month for everybody, momentum, action, manifestation. Really think at the beginning of July, what do I want to create? What am I wanting to manifest this month? And look at career, look at your finances. Some of you might be financially really successful, and now this might give you a different avenue to do something else. But for some of you, if you're still building that financial security, you might need to action it. But you also could be thinking about, is this the career for me? Is this really what I want to be? But for others, it might just be head down, bum up, and just getting on with the job that you've got to get on. There might be some confrontational stuff because it's authority energy. You might have to deal with different egos. You might need to deal with your own ego. And also kind of achieving. So what would you like to achieve on a personal level as well as a career level? Even a relationship level. And what we've got here is the Page of Cups. And then we've got the Four of Cups. And then we've got the Temperance, which comes to a number 5. So when we start to look here, we've got 2 emotional places. We've got Page of Cups, which is an emotional offer. It can be an offer of love. It could be an offer of doing something that you love to do. But it can also mean feeling young again, feeling your emotional youthfulness again. It's like, what did young love feel like? What does it feel to be fresh again when it comes to our emotions? So I feel like there's a little bit of like releasing of this old, maybe stagnant, crappy emotions that you've been holding on to, and you're allowing like the fun side to come back in. But for some of you, this may be a love offer. If there's singles out there, and also if you are in a relationship, maybe this is a birth of having like new romance come into the relationship, and maybe you decide to focus on it a little bit more too. And of course, then the Four of Cups is actually an offer. So there is a major offer coming for the Scorpio energy. Now, what happens with the Four of Cups is you go, do I want it? And so that's a decision you've got to make. It might be something that you've already been offered before, and you're like, well, I didn't want it then, I don't want it now. But it could be a chance for you to change your mind and go, actually, the universe is sending me a handout. It's like, would you like this? And you've got to decide. You could grab it with both hands and go, yes, I do. Thank you very much. And then it could lead to new opportunities, new places. And also with the Temperance, it just asks you to be a little bit more patient about things. Maybe you want everything yesterday, Scorpio, where it's saying, well, yeah, take this opportunity, but it may mean it's going to take a little longer for things to roll out the way in which you were hoping them to roll out. So there is an element that maybe it changes the space and time deliverance. So, but the Temperance, if you put it into love, because this is very much, it feels loving to me. Temperance is a happy relationship. So there could be a lot of you working on your relationship in July. So Scorpio, instead of like gung-hoing into career, what you're doing is actually pulling back and going, okay, well, I know what my skill sets are because that was in June, but now I'm going to focus on home and family and love and relationships and my relationship with myself and bringing balance into those spaces. So it's almost like the opposite to what Scorpios would usually do, which is hone in onto career and business and making empires. It's like, actually, I'm going to enjoy July with those people that I love. So let's pick a guide card to go with that one. And we have Foresight. You are able to see what is in store for the future. I love giraffes. They're so cute. So Foresight, this is where I'm feeling that you need, with these love offer, just an opportunity, and also then this idea of like time changing. I feel like you're going to be aware of it. It's not going to be a surprise. If you get this love offer, you're able to kind of see how that's going to unfold. You get an opportunity offer, you'll see how that unfolds. You get the Temperance, things are going to change. So it's like you're completely aware of how things are going to roll out. So even though the offers might be a surprise, I think you're really aware of the reality around it. Now, August, number 9, release. Now, Scorpios can hold on to bitterness and resentment and make sure I revenge you. Like, so I think this is more about getting into August and saying, oh, just let shit go. Just let it go. It is what it is. The power of that saying, I think, will be really important, and that will be a reminder to myself as well in August. But number 9 is, it's got a few different elements to it. We do have these significant ending occurring. We do, and not only that, don't just wait around for things to end. That needs to be end. The old you, old patterns. If there's payments that need to be done, completions that need to be done, just finalize it. You don't have to wait for the glory of the universe to get shit done. Be the manifester and be really aware of what you're doing. So when we're having a look at 9 as well, for people like me or people that have a lot of social media accounts, also want to reach new audiences, want to be heard, want to be out in the public domain, August is going to be a really big deal for that. I'm hoping to get my book launched during that time. I feel like it'd be a lovely ending, as they say, a completion. It would work for my book series, and also getting out to the public domain, making sure people know about it. But for you, that could look very, very different. For some of you that are a bit reclusive, you might want to stop being reclusive and get out and about, go to a social event, go and talk to the public again. For others who are overly public, it might actually be pulling up on that. Now, you've got the world here, and I always get a bit excited about the world. I don't know if I always push the world energy as far as I should push it. So the world is the world. Do you know, like, it's the earth, it's the globe, it's the people, it's the energy, it's the key to the city. It's, we're almost to that completion. It's where you can celebrate yourself. It's the world. So some of you are thinking about traveling, go travel. If you're thinking about reaching new audiences, go global. Like, it's just really pushing you to extend yourself out into the world. But not only that, it's kind of the world is coming to you now, which is really exciting. And we have the Knight of Wands. Now, we could see that as a person, which would be a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries energy around you, or maybe you need to take on a more fire energy. I always see Scorpios as the fiery water, as the hot water. Same as I see Aquariuses as the emotional, the depth of a water sign, but as an air sign. So sometimes I feel like some merge, and Scorpios definitely, I feel like, are like the fire sign of the water signs. So we've got the Knight of Cups. Knight is action. Get shit done. It also means it's kind of like between old and young, where you're just feeling that prime. And fire signs, they burn hot. They're passionate. They can be fiery. They can be assertive. And Scorpio does not need more encouragement to be assertive like this, but it is encouraging you to do that in August. And then we have the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is great. Something has started, and now you're starting to see the momentum of that start. So that might be something that started back in July, but now we're moving into that August. We're starting to see why things had to happen the way that they happened. So, I mean, the Two of Wands is also, it's the person holding a wand with a wand next to them, which is potential growth. So, and we've also got stability, and then we're looking out into the ocean across the waters. So for a lot of you, across the water, looking out into the world is going to be very, very important to you in that August time. So let's have a look at the guide card. And what we've got here is resourcefulness, the raccoon, or raccoon. I just said that's so funny, raccoon. You have all the resources that you need. You have everything you need. Oh, hallelujah. Blessed be. It's like, thank goodness. You're going to have, I need money, there it is. I need love, there it is. I need, you to do as you're told. There it is. I've got my good health, there it is. So August looks very exciting. Actually, I really love all these. They're very powerful. If I have a look at the major arcanas, you've got 1, 2, 3 major arcanas. So out of the next, every single month has a major arcana, which is large, meaningful transformations. It's the big themes in life. They're not the small themes. So if you've been feeling Scorpio a bit like bleh, like I have a little bit, there seems to be like there's a bit of momentum going. Now, seven always wants, if we go back to June, and we're in June at the moment, it is asking for a little bit of calm. So a bit of stillness. Think of like the mountain pose in yoga where you just stand and you just be. So it's encouraging that energy. But then when we get, into the 8 energy of July, that's an action energy. That's when you can start to get your momentum going. And then here I feel like you're in a position in August where you know what you need to get rid of and you know what you need to keep, and you have much more clarity during this stage. Now, I'm just going to pick one rune for you, and we have the rune of identity here. Who am I? What a big question. Who am I? When we know who we are, we know our values, we also know where we're going. And I don't think this is a time, Scorpio, of not knowing who you are. And this is where I feel like in that June period of sitting down. So this kind of grows your skill sets now. It's more than just what can I do? What jobs am I able to do? It's more about who am I? And what does that represent? And how can I move forwards with that? And also when I look at it, I feel like grounding needs to come in, like dirt, soil, but it's dry dirt. So good luck down in Tassie finding dry dirt at the moment because we've had so much rain. But it's like taking your shoes off and just walking across dried sand, dried soil, desert, outback, and really bracing the earth's energy to come up and through the body. And I think that will be great for this juggling that you've got to do. So, getting to mountain pose and just juggle. So thank you so much for arriving back here. And I'm so privileged that you have. And I'll see you in the next season. Thank you so much. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Jo from Red Room Reiki and Readings. So Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok. Thank you. Bye.